All right, everybody, welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to boost your business with social media. But before we get started, if you'd like to join my text line community, 314-370-2871. Just text that number with join and you'll be in my community. And I send out tips and tricks, motivational stuff, happy holiday stuff, all the kind of stuff that's just good motivational things in your inbox. But I'll never try to sell you anything on that text line. So just join it. It's fun. I don't send a lot of text out on it, but it is, if I do see something coming in the future or some kind of new tech, I will send it out there as well. So today's episode is sponsored by Enlink.com. Rapport made easy. So you just go to Enlink.com, sign up for your account, and you'll have one URL that you can give all of your friends and family, and basically it's basically a business card online. You put all of your social media profiles, your LinkedIn, your Cash App, your TikTok, all your profiles on that one URL, and then you can give that URL out, and everybody has access to all of your different social media profiles. So you don't have to put all your different links out there, just that one link. It's absolutely free. You can get verified for very, very, very little dollars, and it's a lot of fun. It makes life so much easier. My Enlink.com account is enlink.com/Ken. Get your name before it is gone. So we're going to talk about two things this week in between the cubicles. I love the one that Nick's come up with, but before that, I'm on my 6 days without caffeine after last week's show, and I've not had any caffeine in 6 days, and this is my first day without a splitting headache. I just got a little bit of a headache today. Not too bad, but man, this Saturday was tough. Very, very tough. So if you are addicted to anything and you're giving it up, I know that it's a huge challenge. So keep up the good work. I'm no stranger to withdrawal, and caffeine withdrawal is up in my top 3 worst withdrawals. So if you're going through something like that, good luck to you. You can do it. Keep chugging along. Outside of that, Black Widow movie comes out this week. I'm super excited about this. Black Widow is my second favorite Marvel character. Not that she's... I like she's just a regular person, right? And I think... I'm not really sure of her origin story, but like she's just a normal person that is really kick-ass, and she's gorgeous, so that doesn't hurt at all. I'm a little curious how Marvel's going to do this without Hulk and Black Widow. That would have been a great storyline. So, is this an origin story for Black Widow?
It's like
kind of.
It's a prequel, so it comes before Endgame and everything.
Okay, so it's a prequel to how she gets into S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. Okay. Super excited about that movie. Have been for a long time. I think she's also coming out with the Disney Plus movie or show as well.
I'm not sure, actually.
I hope so. But it's Scarlett Johansson, right? It's the original, It's the actress. So Disney Plus is knocking it out of the park with this. The actors from the actual movie and not having some second-rate actors play the parts. So, or not even second-rate, but just not the original actors, right? Because I know Netflix. Does Netflix have for The Flash? Do they have the kid from The Flash? Or is it a different person?
It's a different person.
It's a different person. So all the Netflix Marvel spinoffs are different people. But Disney is really investing in the shows. So that's pretty cool. Way to go, Disney. Anyway, on to our first topic. Lauren asks, I own a laser tag and game center in Florida. Awesome. How many times a day or week should I be posting on social media for my business? Sometimes it is hard to come up with the content to post in the midst of running all my day-to-day operations. 7 to 10. I know it seems like a lot, but you're in a retail business with a lot of in-shop content is what I call it. I call it in-shop, in-club, in-gym, whatever content that you can do inside. So what my recommendation for laser tag, hands down, would be it's very similar to a gym. As people are coming in, do group photos of them and post the group photos. The escape rooms do this all the time. Make sure if you can tag them on social media, like in the application, if you can start asking them for their social media handles, the guests, if you're posting pictures of them and then tagging them in the social media, it'll be fantastic. They'll start telling their friends. It will gain a lot of momentum. That would be number one, is inside your store content. So easy ways to do that are your guests. When they're pumped, they're excited, either before they're going in for laser tag or after they get out. Maybe a quick little video about their experience, right? Just put the camera in front of them. Your front desk people should be able to handle most of this stuff for you. I have front desk people taking pictures inside of businesses all over, and they just put them to a Google Drive, and either we take them or the manager takes them, doctors them up, and puts them out on the social media. So totally doable. So one, your guest. Two would be employee spotlights. These are great ways to boost your social awareness. So you have a new employee at a laser tag place. They're probably 15, 16, 17 years old. You take their picture, you write up a nice bio, you put that on your website and all your social media. They go home, they tell their mom and dad, they post it. It gets shared a whole bunch of times. Employee profiles. It's a great social media tool that you can use to get a lot of traction. And you can kind of do one of those every couple of weeks, and you can spotlight the same employee over and over. So you don't have to never post an employee spotlight again. Once you posted Jimmy, you go through your entire roster, you mix them all up again, and you go through the whole roster again. I would imagine laser tag place turnover for employees is probably fairly high. You probably got your key employees, but you're probably getting 2 or 3 new employees a month anyway, so that would be a great strategy. Damngoodcontent.com, you can just buy their content, and you get a calendar, you get, and all those things. That's going to be Labor Day stuff. It's going to be all of your holidays, your National Pretzel Day, all of those kind of filler content, so that if you just have nothing for that day, you still have something you can put out. And every day is a holiday to somebody, right? Somebody's got something. Hot Dog Day, National Cheese Day, Pizza Day. Every single day of it. Is there a day on the calendar that doesn't have a national day? Not one. But every day of the year's got something.
Most of them have at least 3.
Most of them have at least 3. So, and actually, we're working on a social media calendar for 2022. We're in 21 right now?
Yeah, it's for next year.
Yeah, so for next year, we're actually building that right now so that we should have it available to our audience.
Next week.
Like for our audience or for a review?
It's done.
It's almost completely done for 2022? Awesome. That'll be fun. So we'll have that. We'll give it away to a lot of people. It'll be for sale too, but we'll give them away quite a bit. Nick and the team have been working really hard on making sure that we're ahead of the game and building calendars for people for next year. So those are, Lauren, reach out to us next week and we'll give you that calendar for next year. And that way it will also, if you look at it now, it'll give you ideas for this year too. So it'll be good. You can do it. You can do at least 3 pieces a day. You can do something generic like the holiday, one of your guests that came in that day, and then something about one of your staff members. And for a laser tag company, I would not discount your kids that work for you. I don't think it's appropriate to call them kids or not. I know that's what my wife calls her staff, but empower some of them. Say, hey, have a meeting and say, hey, does anybody have any ideas on what we can do? And they're very, very affordable labor. So you can hire them and say, hey, stay an extra hour and edit these videos or edit these pictures and stuff like that. So it gets them a lot of great experience and it helps you too. So Lauren, congratulations on your laser tag business. That would be a fun business to run in Florida. Hopefully you're in a very touristy part of town. The only time I play laser tag is when we're in a touristy part of town. So that's a fun little business you got. Moving on to question number 2. Nina asks, I've read many articles talking about how many videos on social media are the best way to get both engagement and traction for both businesses and individuals. Can you talk about your experience with videos on social media and if you found this to be true? That's a tough one. Video is definitely more engaging. So what I have found with videos, if you can put the text, especially short videos, how-to videos and like teaser videos and stuff, if you can put the text at the bottom of the screen, what we found is that most people don't have their volume on when they're kind of scrolling social media. So if you're going to pop a video up, make sure that they can, if they're, in the restroom using their phone, which we all know that's a very popular place to use your phone, they probably have the volume turned all the way down, so they might want to watch the video with the subtext on the bottom of it. That's a huge benefit. The most engagement. So this is a question about engagement, both engagement and traction. So traction, it could be a bunch of different things. It really depends on your intent. I think a lot of people believe that they can just post on something on social media and they'll get a sale. That's not necessarily always true. There's different types of content that you're producing and pushing out there. One type of content is just awareness content, right? Hey, we're here. These are the things that we do. I'm not trying to sell anything, but we're just saying, hey, we're here. Stuff like that would just be one of your product descriptions, or hey, our staff is going to volunteer at this Habitat for Humanity event this weekend. Come and join us and get a free t-shirt. Those are just basic awareness campaigns. So if you're talking about traction for that, you're just talking about getting it out there. If you're looking for traction on a direct sale, that's a little harder to do on social media unless you literally have a buy now button in your social media. Mostly what I do for business to business in social media, and even B2C, business consumer, is I'm looking to set some kind of appointment or get some kind of application filled out or get them to do some kind of action. So scan your website for viruses or malware, download this free ebook, get a 2-week free membership to X, Y, or Z gym, get a free Slurpee from your local smoothie store, any of those kinds of things for attraction. For engagement, questions are the best, what I found. The easiest one that we do is for a pizza place, and we literally say, what's your favorite topping on a pizza? And every single time we ask that question, we ask it probably once a quarter for the pizza places that we do it for. It gets hundreds of replies, hundreds of responses, people talking about, and it's at heart, people like to argue, and they like to think what they like is the best thing. So, and this is for a pizza joint, it's great because they get to argue, they get to, say mine's the best, and it's really not that controversial if you like hamburger more than sausage, right? And it gets people out of the politic conversations. So people typically really jump right into that. Pictures and videos with babies tend to do really, really well. I don't know why they do, but I guess the women really, that whole nesting syndrome is a real thing, and they tend to get shared quite a bit. My wife runs a couple social media profiles for female brands, and she tells me all the time the best way to sell bed sheets is to put a baby on the comforter and say, hey, this sheet's for sale, which is crazy. So talking to your audience is the best way. Video does beat pictures almost all the time, but something that's not thought out on either realm is probably going to flop either way, right? So if you're just putting it out there to put it out there, and you're not trying to create any value, or you don't know what your specific intention for that ad or that post is, then you're not going to get much of either. If you have an intention for awareness, like we were talking about with the laser tag studio, awareness would be, an engagement would be posting those pictures of their staff so that their parents engage locally, doing pictures of their guests so that their friends and family engage with those pictures, right? Those are great pictures, still images that do really, really well on engagement for social media. That's about it. The other thing that does well are some kind of contest, right? So if you have recurring visitors to your store, then you can say, hey, if you take a picture in our product and hashtag us, that way they're showing up in your stories as well, but they're on their own social media, then every time that happens, they get their name in a bucket or whatever. There's a lot of software out there to run these kind of campaigns that they get a month free, or they get some kind of free service inside your business. Moving on. Thanks a lot, Nina, for the question. Moving on to Jan. Jan, I own a women's apparel company in Utah, and I'm currently only on Facebook. Do you think it's worth my time and effort to go through and create a page on each platform for my business? How will I be able to keep up posting on every platform? It seems very time consuming. It is very time consuming, but it's very much worth it. So you own women's clothing in Utah. Pretty specific niche. You'll be able to find those people. You'll be able to find women that are buying clothes in Utah on all the platforms, I promise, even TikTok. So you should not open a social media account if you do not intend to make content for that account. If you think that you're going to just go on and put the same content on all your social media profiles, that's going to be a bit of a struggle. You need to have a strategy for each social media platform. Facebook and Instagram, you can probably marry those for, depending on your clothing line. LinkedIn, maybe. I would recommend that for distributors, right? To be in contact with your distributors, make sure you have a nice company profile, and maybe even hiring for staff. So I don't know if, depending on what kind of, if you're selling business clothes, female business clothes to women in Utah, that would be a really good place to do it, would be LinkedIn. If you're selling, in my mind, I don't know why, I've got kind of rugged, outdoorsy kinds of clothing in my mind is what I think this is what you're selling. Could be way off, I don't know. But, that's a great niche to be in. And you can really talk to your audience. Facebook is probably big enough for you. And once you have a good grasp on Facebook and you have a good ROI and you know how to scale your sales through Facebook, then bring on Instagram or bring on TikTok or one of the other social media platforms. That would be a good way for you to gauge whenever, is it working or not. You don't want to just create all your social media profiles and throw all the chips in the air and let them fall where they may, and then do all of this work and not know where the results are coming from, right? So when you start getting results, and it will take time, you want to kind of know where they're coming from. So I hope that helps you a bunch. I'm not sure if it did or not. I feel like I'm leaving you hanging. The short answer is yes, it's worth your time. The long answer is don't do it unless you're ready to do it. So, because if you do it half-assed, people will tell, and it will show in everything that you do. So, but if you do want to if you have short video clips, they have a lot of tools, and Hosterian sells a tool even, and they're super cheap, anywhere from $14 a month to $1,000 a month. You can get social media management software kits that you can schedule out your posts and then not have to worry about it for the rest of the month. So I recommend, or once a week or once a month, sit down and say, okay, these are the things that I'm going to post. I'm going to have them scheduled. They're going to go out to all these different platforms on this schedule. That way you can just really take one day of the month and plan it all out for the whole thing, and then let it go. On top of that, then you can kind of organically post content as things are happening in real life throughout that month. But you know that something's going out every single day on your platforms with some kind of intention. So that is it for that. Hopefully I answered your question, Jan. If I didn't, send me an email. Love to jump on a phone call and just talk through what that was and what get a little more specific. We're going to go now to Today in Tech History, July 6th, 1923. July 5th, 1923. The first 16 millimeter film system was introduced. Kodak introduces the hand-cranked Cinekodak Model A, the first complete 16 millimeter film system. So it was... Man, I wish I had the whole Wikipedia page on all of these. I would imagine 35 millimeter film was out well before that. I'm pretty sure, because the first motion picture was released before 1923, right? So, and I'm assuming they did that on 35 millimeter. And this might be the first residential. I'm not sure. 1923 was a long time ago. I wasn't around yet then, unfortunately. That would have been a cool time to live, I think. But I think any time is probably a pretty cool time to live. Being alive's pretty cool in itself. But Kodak's a weird company, man. They did a lot of great stuff, and nobody knew 20 years ago even that every person in the world would have a really high quality camera in their pocket at all times for $200. So I remember being a kid, there was a Kodak stand in the parking lot of almost every Kmart in the country, right? So, and now you don't see that anymore. You don't see film development stands at all anymore. So it's kind of a bummer. Lost technology. Well, it's not totally lost, right? Some people still love the art of film, but thank you, Kodak, for everything you've done for this country and our world. Time for some new innovation, though. Get on it, boys. Nobody's developing film anymore, or very, very few people are. So, get on to questions. So, Mark, an elder person I know owns an Airbnb, and business is not booming. How do you explain to this person that having a social media presence can boost their business when they believe social media is nonsense? Old dogs and new tricks, man. That's a tough one, right? I think you start with, and I have a client that's very similar to this, but he's not really turned off by social media, but he said that he's got plenty of business without social media. So it's a tough one. If they're not doing well today, I don't know that I would spend a whole lot of time talking them into social media presence and that it can boost their business, because something else has got to be wrong. If there's something inherently wrong with the business or with the way you're doing business, social media is not going to help you grow. It's going to help you be more, it's going to help people be more aware of your business. But if something else is inherently wrong, like Airbnb's a social media website to begin with, right? It's not really like we would think about Facebook or something like that, but it is a social media platform where I put my house up for auction for a day and people can buy it and come live in my house. I would bet that they probably don't have great pictures of of the Airbnb, or that their description's off or something like that. So I would really make sure that I spent the time going through with the Airbnb consultants and the Airbnb profile maker and do all of that, and really make sure first that that's at 100%. And I'd really try to focus on getting reviews from my Airbnb tenants. I know I don't have an Airbnb, but I use Airbnb a lot, and I know that when I give a review of an Airbnb that I stayed at, I feel like the homeowner or the apartment owner is wildly grateful for that. More grateful than any other business that I've ever dealt with, right? So, and I leave reviews, I don't know, 1 or 2 a month, and I'm not really crazy about leaving reviews. But when I leave a review from most places, I don't ever hear anything back. But Airbnbs, I always hear back from. And they write not just a, hey, thanks a lot. They write, hey, it was great meeting you, if we met face to face or not. They really go into some detail about the experience. So I would focus first on the Airbnb profile and the process that they're using there. And then, only then when they saw that taking the time and effort, and my assumption is that they think all social media is BS, that they're just taking some really basic snapshots of their place and a really dull description of it and post it out there, and they think that will still sell. Because 40 years ago, that's what you did in the newspaper, right? You put an ad in the newspaper, place for rent, and you had a very small little spot to sell it. Moving on. I hope that helps you, Mark. It's a tough road telling somebody that's elderly that social media is worth their effort. But it is. Generally it is. Fundamentals have to be there first, though. If you don't have your fundamentals first, then social media is not going to help you much. Scott asks, do you know of any companies that you can offload your social media management in order to free up some time? I feel social media for your business is vital, but it is also time consuming, so it's hard for me running a small business to do it. Was wondering if you had any tips or knew of any affordable companies to run social media for you. Absolutely. We run social media accounts for people, and there's thousands of social media managers out there in the world. I would be wary of anybody that's selling you social media management and they're charging, $10,000 a month. Some do, and some are really, really great, depending on your business, I guess. If you are over $50 million a year, yeah, pay the $10,000 or $20,000 a month, right? And have a whole team doing your social media. If you're below $1 million a year in revenue, you're going to have a really hard time outsourcing social media, but you can do it for as little as $400 or $500 a month. You can have 2 or 3 posts a week go out. I think that seems about the right price. But I would really try to, I would probably try to hire a consultant and use that money for consulting fees and try to do that in-house, because I think you'll get a much better experience for your in-shop content from somebody that works there. And don't do it yourself, because if you're running the business, you don't have the time to run around taking pictures and everything like that all the time. So, but hire for it, just like any other job that you have inside your business. You have to look at this as a cost of doing business. It's a marketing expense, advertising expense, sales expense, wherever you want to put it. But it needs to be done. You might be able to find a sales rep that can do both. That's challenging. I've been down that road. Kind of works, kind of doesn't work. You really need your social media person to be your social media person, and your salespeople to be salespeople. That's a decision you have to make. Outsourcing is a really good way to do it. At $500 a month, you're going to get very generic kind of content. So if you hire a social media company that they specialize in gyms, you're going to get very generic. You're going to get the same content that all the other gyms that sign up for their service get, right? It's going to have your logo on it. If you sign up for one that does specialize in, there is a social media company that specializes in every industry, and those are very, in my opinion, very generic cookie cutter systems that you pay the $500 a month for, and they post on all this different social media, but it's the same as everybody else's. When you start getting into that $3,000 range, but then you can hire somebody, right, to do your social media for you in-house. At that number, you're going to start getting more unique content for your space. That 10 and 20, you're going to have a branded podcast. You're going to have, weekly videos or monthly videos made. Maybe somebody comes out to your spot and produces a monthly video on your behalf or with you for your social media and post it out there. But all of that said, even if you outsource, I think you need to have some of those skills in-house and own some of that ability inside your own company, because third parties come and go, and your company is your decision, right? And you don't want to have the social media presence that just falls off the cliff one day because a relationship went bad or because somebody went out of business or anything else. And in all things in business, you have to be able to defend your position and stay in control. And if you outsource 100% of it, then somebody else is 100% in control of your company's image. And that's a little scary sometimes. So anyway, that's it for today's show. Again, my name is Ken. This is Clicks and Bricks. We talk about technology and business solutions. If you want to join my text line community, 314-370-2871. Thank you for joining me today, everybody. Get to work.